The following is rated not safe for work. It contains strong language, adult situations, and lots of spoilers. Discretion is advised.
In the criminal justice system, cinematic-based offenses are considered especially heinous. The dedicated attorneys who investigate these villainous films are members of an elite squad known as the Reels of Justice. These are their stories.
Order, please, order. The Reels of Justice is now in session. Judge Le Poisson, how I love Ryan Luis Rodriguez presiding. Your eyes for the Honorable Judge Rodriguez.
I'm glad we switched that at the last minute so that I didn't have to try a French accent. Be seated. Welcome to the Reels of Justice. Today we are hearing the case of the people versus the Little Mermaid, the good one. A 1989 animated adventure that follows Ariel the mermaid becoming human in order to pursue her love, Prince Eric. For those of you unfamiliar with our court proceedings, we are here to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. As always in this courtroom, films are to be considered excellent until proven awful, and the burden of proof lies upon the prosecution to prove beyond a shadow of a reasonable doubt that this film is guilty. Mr. Big Ben Haslar, you are representing the prosecution. You may present your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Longtime listeners may know that I did not grow up in a Disney household. Not really. Disney was sometimes around. My brother and I rented Robin Hood. I know as a family we watched Aladdin, probably because Robin Williams was in it. My dad took my brother and I to The Lion King. We did watch that Aladdin TV series after school. But as for the rest of it, I picked up all the plots from those many times the school teacher would roll the TV and VCR in and show one of the films in class or at a friend's house where they would have all those little clamshelled movies all lined up in a row, which is where most of my glimpses of The Little Mermaid took place. This isn't to say I disliked any of them. I remember distinctly as a second grader thinking, that Belle chick is pretty cool. I wish I had a friend like her. The Little Mermaid, though, that one always bugged me a bit. As a youngin', I couldn't quite put my finger on why, other than I hated Flounder. And Ariel seemed rather self-centered and a rule breaker, and young Ben, absolutely a rule follower. The talking animal humor and animated pratfalls never really landed on me. I just never found myself singing any of the songs from that one, unlike the other films. It was just kind of there. Ah, poor young Ben, even at that young age, being able to access the things that other kids could. There would be no smart, caring chick friend like Belle in his future. Here's the rub, though. Young Ben was right. This might be the worst of that Renaissance bunch. It doesn't have good lessons and takeaways. Ariel is a self-centered brat and not someone to be admired and emulated. 3-day romances are terrible things to make life-altering, irreversible decisions around. But the story seems to reward her for thinking her life is not worth living unless she gets that current thing that she has her heart set on. Our exhibits will cover the original book, the shortcomings of the character, and how the film outright lies to you.
Thank you, Big Ben. Appearing on behalf of the defense is Mr. Brian Levine. Please present your opening statement.
Well, thank you, Your Honor, and all you other children who are uninformed. I come to you pro bono. In fact, I paid my own way to come to this court and to be here to defend what is the classic of the new era of Walt Disney animation.
Hey, we gave you lunch.
And I threw it back up.
It's not my fault.
I will state that I was going to object during my during the plaintiff's opening arguments, but we only have a certain amount of time here, and I just figured it was easier to get that over with than object at all. So therefore,
thank you.
I will begin with a defense of this movie on three legs. And the first leg begins in 1934, 1935, when a very young Walt Disney says that animation is not cartoons. Animation is art, and animation can tell stories to both children and adults alike in the same film and can be a feature-length film. And he proved that with a certain Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I will say that on the second leg that this is a history-breaking movie because it was 30 years between what is known as the fairy tale classics, the last one being Sleeping Beauty in 1959, and then this movie coming out in 1989. So 30 years between that no one at the Walt Disney Company wanted to touch Walt's formula since Walt had been gone. But yet, did they? Did they improve on it? And then I will say that the third and final one is that this is the beginning of the new morals of the film audience. This is not just a bratty teenager, as the plaintiff said. This is a young woman who is realizing that she can break the mold that is set before her. She can go forth and do what she wants to do with her life, be what she wants to be. It is full of wonderful character animations alongside, and that is, and I'll tell you, we go back, let me take you back again to 1959 at Disneyland, where the submarine voyage opens up, and Walt Disney said, you know, we need to have mermaids in that lagoon. And then you fast forward to about 1962, 1963, and Walt Disney turns to one of his gagster animators, a certain Mark Davis, and says, Mark, there's not a lot of funny in the park. So we need the funny in the park. So let's bring some of these characters that you're known for creating and put them in the park. And that's when we get the transformation of the Jungle Cruise. So these character animations, these are the first times when the characters really come forward and become part of it. I also bring forth the 1984 movie Splash, which was put into production by Ron Miller, Walt Disney's son-in-law, and was directed by a very young guy named Ron Howard, and launched the career of a certain other young guy named Tom Hanks, and featured a mermaid. So mermaids are important to the past, the present of the company, the future, and I will also tell you that it also launched the career of another person of importance, and that is a certain Alan Menken. I will gladly defend all these statements as we go through this, and I look forward to the proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Levine. I was spot checking you the entire time, and you did not make a single untruth. So, congratulations.
How many did I make?
Everything.
You spoke opinions, Mr. Haslar. He spoke facts.
Oh.
Mr. Haslar, you may proceed with your first exhibit.
Well, let's talk facts then. Let's talk about the book on which this was based. The strategy did not work out well for me and Troy, but I do think bringing the original story in for an exhibit is still prudent. What it was and what are we to learn from it? I do think an adaptation doesn't need to hold itself to those original versions, but in this case, where there is a hard lesson to be learned and deeper motivation as to what could be drawn from that Disney intentionally discarded, it does make sense to see what kind of better choices there were. In short, Little Mermaid rescues a handsome young prince. That's accurate. She falls for him. Also accurate. She trades her voice to a sea witch in order to become a human and has a time frame in which to win his heart. The main difference is that she'll die and turn into sea foam if she doesn't achieve her goal. But I can see why the G-rated film might try to subdue that. So we're mostly fine so far with one cut. Mermaids don't have souls, and humans do. This longing for a soul is part of what makes her admire that realm of humanity. A theme that this film kind of acknowledges in passing, but doesn't make a point of, is that the prince sort of like withholds himself from her affections because he actually did fall for the mermaid who saved his life, a mermaid he recognizes by voice only. But with her now missing her voice, he A, doesn't know that she is that person, and B, finds that she isn't the complete package of what he's looking for. And so the story's main theme is one of the virtues of unrequited love. They maintain a close friendship, but he cannot love someone who is missing a piece of what he thinks a woman should have. But she continues to love him and be devoted to him anyway. Eventually, the prince finds the princess to marry another princess to marry, and the mermaid sisters make another deal with the sea witch that if the mermaid kills the prince with a magic knife, kills this man who has spurned her of her very genuine professions of love, she can become a mermaid again and return to her old life at the cost of his. Turns out this isn't even an appealing option for the mermaid. She does truly wish him well, even if she's the one who can't be with him in the end, which, you know, I'm sure she'd prefer to live, gaining her remaining years at the cost of his life, though. That's a non-starter. Even though she's not sharing that life with him. She turns into sea foam, but then finds some sky spirits carrying her off, and it seems at the end of it all, she gained her soul anyway. Unrequited love is a theme, and unfortunately one that I understand all too well. After all, I haven't known any other kind. The tale beautifully shows the virtue that can still exist in that, even though we are doomed to our consolation prizes of hoping that the ones we desire are happy without us. Disney sanitizes the hard lessons completely, and kids need hard lessons to round out their characters and set them up to be able to process and deal with the inevitable disappointments that come to us in life. In this version, the love isn't really unrequited. The prince is with Ursula, and it seems more because he's like sort of magically enchanted to be that way. The film posits that their love was real the whole time and that she was justified in the decisions that she made. The shortcomings of her character, that will be my next exhibit. But for the first exhibit, it's the crime that the real meat and potatoes of the story was cut out for really no lessons at all.
Wow. Sad.
It is. I'm sad.
If I may rebut the fact that adaptation is, if adaptation is going to be judged in this case, then we should have no further stories than that of Chaucer, Shakespeare, and Homer, and end it right there. Thank you very much.
I'll hear him out.
Short and sweet. Mr. Haslar, your next exhibit?
Yes, I'll proceed to my next exhibit, which is Ariel. That teenage brat, which the defense, I assume that they're ready for. She's headstrong and unreceptive to the constant advice of others that she gets from all sides. Her father, her friends, her circumstance. She eschews all of that, steady in the unending pursuit of her dream. Her dream of being with a boy who really doesn't show too many character traits either. I mean, he tries to save his dog, so he's not a bad guy. But he and she don't really share or work off of one another to show that intellectually, spiritually, or anything that they're really a match for each other, essentially than just the physical. She saw him. She's physically attracted to him. She has to be with him. And I will grant to the film that is accurate for how teenagers think and behave. I've seen so many girls just obsessed with a tussle-haired Charlemagne and you just like probe and ask, why? It seems like they're self-centered and only interested in sex and their own endeavors. It just boils down to how they feel when they're with them and no actual virtues that they possess. Boys are susceptible to this too, of course. Why do I want her? Well, she's hot. Do I need any other reason? My biological drive has taken the wheel here. They have great physical traits. I want to be around those physical traits and maybe, combine those traits into my bloodline. Eric.
You're a real romantic, huh, Ben?
Eric is kind of a nothing character, right? He's just Ken, right? He's just the guy. There is nothing interesting about him at all. No lines where he says something and you think, oh, that's so Eric. And sometimes these attractive people are fine people to bind your life to. The problem is you'll never know if that's the case or not in a 3-day period. The teenagers will absolutely wholeheartedly believe that they do know and that they do need to, and that the adults having this more whole holistic view are probably not the case, and they're unwise not to wait and see if there's more abusive, selfish traits that they haven't shown yet. Just wait it out a little bit. They haven't had a real conversation. But hormones in full control, the way it is for most teenagers, Ariel is convinced that she knows what is best and disobeys her father, casts her friends aside to pursue the guy she has to have. And in the end, is rewarded for it. Gets the guy, she loves him, he loves her, dad loves them both, she's vindicated for every selfish, self-serving choice that she made. Not a good lesson. Maybe it does work out sometimes, but it sure doesn't work always. Eric could easily turn out to be an alcoholic, a deadbeat dad, someone who runs off with the next supermodel that he sees. But young people watching this will think, well, young love is real, and I'm justified for pursuing my sex drive. So this is Exhibit 2. Ariel is a selfish, terrible role model who learns nothing and isn't even an active participant in solving the problems that she created. If Eric wasn't able to ram Ursula with that ship, we'd have an evil sea dictator. Her dad would have given her his soul for no real reason. She doesn't solve any of these problems and is absolved of all of the consequences by chance, and that her love is real. At least make her learn something like, well, I won't do that again. There's nothing like that in this ending. She's just a teenager in heat who runs away from daddy, causes issues for everyone, and then gets what she wants in the end.
Teenager in Heat, an alternate title for this film.
Mr. Levine, I'd like to hear more than one sentence regarding this argument.
I would like to state that I was going to object to some stuff, but during that diatribe of words and insults, I fell asleep for a while. So I'll wake up now here and defend that. I would like to say that, of course, the art form that this movie is made in is hand-drawn, 100% hand-drawn on animation using the multi-plane camera. And because of that art form, it does allow for it does cause some limitations with character development and plot development. But you do have some of the most beautiful animation at the beginning of the movie, especially as you're coming down into Ariel's world and the water is coming in and out of focus, just like it would be in the water. As a wave comes by you, things would be sharper and then things would go away a little bit and be a little fuzzier. So we do have the beauty of the art form that this theatrical presentation is made in. Now, I will say that the characters are developed, and this is not just a whim of Ariel's. Ariel, for a long time, in fact, for many years, has been collecting things from the human world and has been cataloging them and wondering what they're used for. Now, I will say she has been asking a seagull, who is an old Jewish guy from vaudeville, what those things are, and they come up with wonderful names, like the Dinglehopper, better known as a fork. Or my favorite, and the reason why this movie will always live on in a special place in my heart, is because of the Snarfblatt and the 4 different representations of pipes and or pipe smoking in this movie.
Oh, nice.
4 different. Did I say 4? Yes. 2 different characters, and the pipe shows up twice.
And they say representation doesn't matter.
If I could just offer a quick rebuttal on the animation, and maybe you could even take it further from there. It felt to me like some of it is beautiful, but it also seemed half and half. Like it seemed like you can feel corners being cut as like the time was running short. Half of the mermaid sisters seem very beautifully animated. Some seem very half done. And the same with like the sailors. Like almost every background character that you look at, it seems like they're like, well, let's pick and choose a couple and like the rest we can just like, not have like do the full animation with the eyes. We'll just have like those black dots. And often times in the motion, I feel like Ariel's face and her body becomes distorted in kind of a revolting way.
There is some, in all honesty, I would say this was the first of these large scale feature animated films that the company had done in several years. They went from, and these are facts that I did look up, they went from 300 animators on staff towards the end of it having 2,200 animators on staff and budgetary issues. And at the time that this movie was greenlit, it was right at the beginning of the Jeffrey Katzenberg, Michael Eisner, and Frank Wells team, and there was not a lot of money floating around. So you do see some glimpses of magnificence, and then you see some in-betweening that was done relatively quickly. But the character development, which the plaintiff was attempting to assassinate as a bratty young girl, the character development is there. And even when you first meet Eric, you hear him coming back from meeting this other princess that he just didn't connect with, and how he's looking for those connections. So the character development is there. It's quick and it's in pieces. I would like to say also that as a father of a daughter, and the father of a daughter who just got married,
Father
It
of the
is
bride.
interesting to watch this as watch it again at my perspective now, where King Triton is now learning from his daughter, his youngest of 7 daughters, and is growing through their actions and their wants and their needs. And even Prince Eric is not ready to settle. It would have been perfectly common for, 2 princes, a prince and a princess from, neighboring kingdoms to get married and then forge a bond. And that's how you get all the inbreeding in the British family. But no, these 2 people were looking for their one true love, and they had a path that they had to go on. Now, I will say, and I want to also say that Ursula is, in my mind, one of the best developed and best utilized and most dynamic of the villains of any of the Disney animated movies. And she's just really misunderstood. Thank you.
We'll get to Ursula. You're saying this is about true love. I'd like to return to that for a second, because I think that this movie is about sex. This movie, like Ariel's motivations are all tied up in it. It's also what Eric's motivations are as well. There's very little of Ariel and he and what they share in common besides legs that she had to supernaturally obtain. And Ursula suggests she would be well advised to use those looks and that bawdy language. Work those hips, girl. Come on, sex it up. This actually turns out to be pretty solid advice, as Ariel pretty much succeeds with her looks alone. This probably is the most evidence in the song Kiss the Girl, where we're set up to be rooting for this true love, but the expression of that and the manifestation is completely physical. He sees her on the boat ride. They haven't said 2 words to each other, but Sebastian encourages him to kiss her, to take her. Come on, man, look at her. Surrender to your urges and take what you physically want of her. They muddle that a bit in that live action remake, changing the lyrics to use your words and ask her, meaning a man should seek permission to force a kiss upon a woman. I'm not sure that was necessary because at the base of it all, it's still there. Ariel is still selling her beauty and Eric is buying it. And that is the essence of it all. For young girls and young teens, this could lead to unintended consequences. I'm not advocating for abstinence only. Teenagers are going to have sex, but ideally, they should be well informed and well reasoned as to how, when, and why any of it is going to happen. The Little Mermaid is a terrible precedent in these regards. Some of the poses and silhouettes involving Ariel, they're pretty suggestive at times. And just as an addendum, I think there's that infamous subliminal message that either Disney or a bored disgruntled artists have put into their films as the Renaissance but there's that clear phallus on the box that they had to remove, and what appears to be an erection when the priest is marrying Ursula and Eric, that they claim to be knobby knees. But look at the screenshots. I ain't buying it. And
they did erase it from the most recent version.
They had to erase it because it's clearly evident. So, I have knobby knees when I'm watching a Kate Beckinsale film. These subliminal messages carry through in the other films. The Lion King and Aladdin in particular have some pretty compelling examples of subliminal messages. Disney denies all of them, as of course they would. But you, the jury, get to decide. So Exhibit 3, sexually charged film aimed for children.
I would like to counter that and state that I believe the counselor for the plaintiff stated his unrequited love, and perhaps has a Freudian fascination with body parts, and that's probably the reason why he's yet to find the partner, the lifetime partner.
It can be 2 things.
I think he's right. Cut your losses, Ben. Move on.
Yeah. In one of the poses, I want to draw that because the plaintiff did mention that there was a pose, and when she is singing Part of Your World, there's a pose that she takes sitting up on a rock. That pose is in direct homage to the statue of the Little Mermaid that is in the Copenhagen, Denmark harbor in honor of Hans Christian Andersen, the Dane who wrote the original story. And that is a direct depiction or direct copy of what that mermaid statue is doing in the harbor in Copenhagen. So it is a tie back to Hans Christian Andersen directly.
That is a good rebuttal, but like if you look at those statues, I mean, those artists were pretty horny. Just look at them, like they were putting that into the art. So Disney made the choice to include that.
Not that horny.
Not that I'm going to disagree with you, because someone might have the original VHS copy with the castle tower thing in it.
I do.
I will also state that I was a very young, I would have been about 21 years old when a certain Ariel in the Little Mermaid was a pre-parade float at Disneyland when I worked there, and she came down sitting up on a rock wearing clamshells. So I have no problem with that. I also have no problem as the father of a daughter with a woman showing her sexuality and using it. I have no problem with with attractive men showing their sexuality and using it. I just want to kill them because I don't have it. I would also like to add in there that yes, I do believe what the plaintiff is laying groundwork for is what I referred back to, in that this movie is not just for kids, it is for the entire family, and that is the secret to a Walt Disney animated feature that is done well, is it has something in there for everyone, including a line from one of my favorite songs. And Sebastian sings, and I quote, "Everything is better down where it's wetter. Take it from me." Now, is that bad? No, these are two teenage kids, 16, 17. And of course, that's what they're thinking about. And the ocean is a rolling and rocking and hey, but I do like the way that in the end, Disney changed it to where Eric turns the boat and stabs the sea witch with the boat and kills her and helps. And so it's mutual saving. Thank you.
I love the way you set me up for my great segues, because my last exhibit is that Under the Sea song.
Here we go.
Life under the sea isn't quite the paradise Sebastian sings about. Instead of being all hot for a human, the story easily could have been about Ariel just wanting to escape because it's a hellhole down there. Sebastian says the human world is one in which we work all day under the sun, but the film shows that there is clearly a workforce down there too. Sebastian himself is a conductor. We got that seahorse who's forced to wear that frilly collar and announce everybody all day. You think that's his dream? Triton is a king, a very cush job, and I'm sure that he wouldn't trade to announce people. Seems that there is a social structure down there, and that they have the same problems that we have up here. There's rich rulers, poorer people who don't have access to as much and can only make do by serving the whims and desires of this ruling elite. Sebastian also sings about how a lot of fish might end up being eaten up above, which is shown in that scene with Renee Auberjonois in that song. That's Odo, by the way, from Deep Space Nine.
Hell yeah.
I actually love this scene because it's so depraved. How this guy is just one souffle away from becoming a supervillain, just singing all day about how he loves chopping off the heads of sea creatures, how happy he is that he can stuff flour into their corpses because it's so nice that they're dead now. It's so funny because this scene adds nothing at all to the movie. It's just 2 minutes of playing with dead meat and bones with pure adulation. This guy is pure evil. And Ursula is at least upfront with her terms and conditions. This dude just lives for the feeling of heads becoming detached from spines with that meat cleaver, like he's delivering a Mortal Kombat fatality.
I'd like to object. I object. Ursula is not upfront with her terms and conditions. Ursula does not ever declare that she is going to attempt to go on to land and steal Eric away.
Ooh. Right.
Maybe, but she is upfront with like the time frame. Like they're like there's she didn't ever said like this thing couldn't happen.
Oh, there it is.
But anyway, here's the thing: sea creatures eat other sea creatures. We have even seen that when the shark in that opening tries to eat Ariel and Flounder. Sebastian is obviously leaning into propaganda to try and get her to stay. But we also have King Triton being a racist against humans for similar reasons. Unless he's feasting on the human flesh his siren daughters are procuring by luring sailors onto the jagged rocks, I can't force myself to believe those muscles were formed strictly by adhering to a seaweed diet. So what are you eating, Triton? He has to be ordering his subjects to kill themselves to feed his appetite while listening to a symphony composed on paper, one of the very human artifacts he claims to despise. Hypocrite. So Exhibit 4, as Qui-Gon informs us, there's always a bigger fish, and on that, the prosecution will rest.
He's eating all the clams.
Mr. Levine, would you like to respond to that or jump into your next exhibit?
Oh, no, I'll respond and then jump into my next exhibit because the story is a metaphor and one cannot take it for granted. Everything is not better down where it's wetter. You run into leaks and mold. I know that for a fact.
Mold.
I would like to say that that there is truth in this movie, in that even this Scandinavian tale, even in this Scandinavian tale, they understand that French food is the best. So you want a French cook, and that the French are generally batshit crazy as well. So there's perfection there. Now, if it pleases the court, I will go into my final summation and add in some more facts in support of this as beginning the gateway into the next classic era of Walt Disney films.
Please do.
This film, had it not been successful, would not have allowed for the following films to come along: Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, Tarzan. They all follow in this same formula, this same style. This film had, and I'm pulling up the exact information because I don't want to run the risk of being like the plaintiff and being misquoted or having incorrect facts or anything. But the one song that the plaintiff doesn't like, and I'm just trying to find the here it is. Yes, the song "Under the Sea." The song "Under the Sea" that we spent so much time bashing. At the time that it came out, was judged by a jury of its peers, by a certain Academy, by a certain Golden Globes, and by a certain Grammys as being the best song of the year. That one song won all three of those. The score also won numerous awards. So therefore, just based off of the music alone, this is a classic. Launched the career of Alan Menken, who went on to become one of 22 EGOT winners in current history. And with that, I will say, is it a perfect film? No. Is it a beautiful film? In parts, yes. Is it very important? It is. And therefore, it cannot be judged as a bad film. Thank you.
Look, we can peer into the multiverse all day and try and guess what would have happened if the Little Mermaid, didn't arrive on the scene. A better argument might be the Little Mermaid led to Beauty and the Beast, and Beauty and the Beast led to everything else. We don't know what would have happened if Beauty and the Beast didn't exist, but this did, what any of those following films might have looked like. It's just pure postulation, Your Honor.
Accepted. All sides arrested their cases. The attorneys will now present their closing arguments. Mr. Haslar, you may begin.
Jury, listen to me. The Little Mermaid, it's a mess. A guilty verdict is better than any mercy that you could share. That little mermaid's always scheming, ignoring every rule. She dreams about a single man there. It's cool like a lovesick fool. Just look at the facts before you, right here on the courtroom floor. Such awful lessons haunt you. Just what are you waiting for? Just vote guilty. Just vote guilty. You can't acquit it. The facts do not fit it, plain as can be. Up on the stand, we made our case. This film has no saving grace, no introspection, just bad direction. Just vote guilty. In here, all the love is sappy. Wait till the credits roll. Young love can turn out crappy. The rewrite sure took its toll. The book had a real true message. Disney said that's too deep. Kids need their vindication. These toys will sell real cheap. Just vote guilty. Just vote guilty. Hans would sure hate it, demean and berate it, plain as can be. That their defense is looking shook. Why not go off and read the book? She learned no lesson, but court's now in session. Just vote guilty. Thank you.
Yay! Very
He's
good.
gonna win
Very
that
good.
realsy.
Thank you, Mr. Haslar. Mr. Levine, you may present your closing argument.
Well, as assaulting as that song was to all senses that I now wish I'm kind of happy I'm losing my hearing. And thankful that I don't have to edit this for replay and hear it again. I once again refer back to the time and place, because we can only judge art on the time and place that it came out in. We can only judge art based off of its current surroundings. We can't judge art on the future. We can't judge art on what the next years will see. At the time that this movie came out, it was a monumental success. It was well received. It was awarded heavily for a film that couldn't get a Best Picture nomination because of its performers and the fact that they were drawn and not performed. It set the stage. It carried on a tradition that started over 50 years before it and carried that tradition on strongly. Yes, it is a imperfect movie, but every movie is imperfect. And I remind the jury that beyond a reasonable doubt, is this movie still worth watching? Did we all find moments of it that were beautiful, moments of it that were frightening, moments of it that were enlightening, moments of it that were funny? We did, and you know you did. And this final, my final statement is much better than anything that I would ever attempt to sing, because I have more respect for this courtroom than to subject you to my singing voice. And I just remind you that, yes, everything is better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Thank you.
Thank you both. Members of the jury, Mr. Maynard Bangs, Mr. Dylan J. Schlender, and Mr. Each Little Snail Know How to Whale, Ryan Luis Rodriguez. You've all heard You've all heard the facts concerning this case. It is now up to you to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. The bailiff will escort you to the deliberation room to render your verdict.
Right this way? You know, why couldn't the young lass just call the prince up on her shell phone?
All the goodwill you got from singing that song is gone now.
The bailiff said it. I didn't say it. He and I aren't the same person.
The bailiff used to be a frog, and then he was kissed by another bailiff, and, well, here we are.
I always thought that Eric was going to be happy when he married her and realized that the king had a whole bunch of oil money down there.
Wow, what a fun case that was. So, let's talk about a little bit here. So obviously, the reputation for the Little Mermaid, it just precedes it. It's pretty huge. And I like where Ben was looking for the seams, right? So bring in the original book, talk about some of the inconsistencies, some of the failings of the characters that really aren't called into account. And it is kind of funny because Ariel, like he said, she doesn't seem to really learn a lesson. She doesn't seem to contribute much to fixing the problems that she's largely caused. Though, to be fair, it cuts both ways. If you're going to call her a bratty kid, I mean, she got manipulated by Ursula as well, and so she's 16, can't legally sign a contract anyway. But anyway, so like it does. I have a little.
Well, you don't
more
know.
grace.
You don't know how it works under the sea.
That's true. I have a little more grace for Ariel because that. And then, as Brian said, I am also the father of a young daughter, and sometimes you do have to kind of watch them make mistakes. Now, I don't want to have to correct a mistake that involves me selling my soul to a sea witch, So I get that. However, I do think
she would do it. She would do it.
I know, right?
and not for much.
Not for very much at all. For some, what's the currency called in Roblox? There, It's like, really? All right. So anyway, no, but it is funny how your perspective can shift when you watch these movies, because like I'm sure when Brian saw it in '89, it was different than like seeing it now as a father who's just gave away his daughter to get married. So like so I'm sympathetic to both points of view, and and then I do think that the music is just really solid, and I like the history that Brian brought in about why this is an important movie for Disney and really for culture moving forward. I mean, like Disney movies are really a part of the bedrock foundation of our shared culture. I think that's not an overstatement at all. But Maynard, let's hear what you're thinking about the cases.
Well, I am very interested in Brian's point about this kind of being the Disney Renaissance. I think the thing he didn't take into account is Ben's point about the clamshells. This is exactly when movies started becoming available in the home, right? Is right around the late 80s, where you could start affordably being able to buy VHSs regularly. You could start
and
buying
rent them,
right, but you could start buying them as well. You could rent them probably since the beginning
at a decent price, because they
late
used to be
70s,
like
but exactly,
$90.
Exactly, you could start buying them at that decent price. So I don't think it's a coincidence that Little Mermaid's kind of one of the first VHS releases where kids can now bring it home and watch it over and over and over and become freaking addicted to it. So I understand that this did kick off a huge line of Disney movies, but I see that as being, this is a good project, but just as much that strike of the VHS and the VCR revolution and the home theater.
Well, so you're saying right place, right time.
Correct.
It still had to be a good product, though.
It did still have to be a good product. But, hey, lots of kids had Rescuers Down Under, too. It's just the year.
I look forward to hearing more about that.
Just saying.
Something about Bob Newhart I'm hearing.
I had also kind of wanted to prosecute this movie. I'm in Ben's camp, and I have been since I was a kid. Ariel has to change to win this man. And she never has to change back at the end. She stays a human. She changes everything about herself for this man, and the movie at the end kind of goes, yep, and that was right. That was the correct thing to do. Like, good for you. You're justified. And, that kind of sticks in the craw. And to Ben's point, they have to fall in love without her ability to communicate at all, and there's plenty of ways to communicate without speaking, right? But
yeah, seemingly she knows how to write her name,
Well, okay, I'm going to assume that they don't have a written language at all, but there is still charades.
No, they do. She signed her name.
Well, damn, you're right. Why didn't she just write down? You've just sunk this whole thing. She can write her name in perfect English. Why doesn't she just write down, I have lost my voice for 3 days, kiss me?
100% the biggest plot hole in the movie.
Right.
And that Sebastian just gives up after it's like, kiss the girl. He goes, oh, well, she'll be dead in a couple hours anyway. It's like, try again. It's like, Sebastian, you can talk to him, because who can
exactly.
understand the animals in this?
Right. And so there's ways to communicate, but the issue is she can't communicate, but there's nothing in this contract that says she can't be aggressive. She's just not aggressive because that's not how women are supposed to be. And this movie kind of reinforces it. She has to get this guy to kiss her. She has to play coy and hard to get the entire time. Like, that's so stupid.
It has to be true love's first kiss, so she can't just like smooch him. Right?
No, but you could really lean in and bat and stick,
but would that be true love's first kiss, or would that be like Ben saying
when it finally does happen? I mean,
we don't know, because even when it happens, the contract's expired, so we actually never really know if it's true love's first kiss. No, I know the contract thing is very interesting in this, and I will give a lot of people like to say, like hashtag Ursula did nothing wrong. Brian's right. Ursula did cheat. I would say any court of law would find what she did to be in violation of the contract. You know, like
she did nothing worse than what Apple does on a daily basis.
Incorrect. That's the thing you said in your letterbox review. And Apple doesn't come into your house and like mess with your job and get you fired so that you can't pay their bill and they can charge you more. She directly interferes with her thing by using her voice. She does that on purpose. I don't know that that's out of the range of the contract, but I'm saying it makes her worse than Apple. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think we cleared that bar. You know, I mean, and she admits that the whole thing was a scam just to, you know, trick to get Triton. I mean, you know what I mean? So she's not even saying like, oh, I'm entitled to do all this. It's weird that the force of law is a type of magic. You know what I mean? Like, because he can zap it. It's like also the king can't do it. You know,
for some reason,
be hurt by a boat.
For some reason, my Mac laptop is now glowing bright red and hovering.
Oh, Brian, get out of the room! No. Yeah, I mean, but I think what this. Well, actually, Ryan, let's hear from you before I go off.
Sure. This is actually technically the first movie I ever saw in a theater.
Hell yeah!
I say technically because the moment the shark showed up, I ran screaming down the aisle and didn't come back to a theater for another year.
Oh no!
But I do have a soft spot for this movie. It's one of the few. It was one of the first that I collected on VHS in that clamshell, the one that looks like a penis.
Yes,
nice.
Clamshell.
But the thing is that this is important for kind of kickstarting the confidence that Disney needed to start the Renaissance, because the real start of the Renaissance is Beauty and the Beast, because that got nominated for Best Picture, being the first animated movie to ever do that. And
should have won.
I love that movie. I don't disagree with you. 1991 was a tough year, but I think that has a strong chance. I can only judge this, but I can't go deep into what the character motivations are and what is problematic and what isn't, because I don't care at this point. I really don't. I just like enjoying movies on their aesthetic and feeling levels. And Ariel has probably the best I Want song in animated movie history, if not all of Broadway and everything that intends. I love the fact that the chef who wants to kill Sebastian gets his own song for some reason. That's just excellent. Absolutely delightful. I love just staring at the backgrounds behind these characters. It's just something fascinating that I love doing. And I watched this morning on 4K, and it was a miracle. It looked amazing.
Oh, I bet that looks so good. I'd love to watch this on the projector.
This is a gentleman's 8 for me. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, I got a lot of history lessons from Brian, and as we learned from the last case that I did, Venom, history lessons do not help you win cases.
They can when they're contextualized.
But Ben really brought his A game, and I know he doesn't hate this movie as he had to say that he did, because he gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. That's not hate. That's begrudging like. So I'm gonna have to just go with who I think made the stronger arguments, and I'm gonna go with Ben.
All right, Maynard Bangs.
Well, I probably begrudgingly. I have more of a grudge against this movie than Ben. I wouldn't say I hate it. I just kind of like resent that people miss some of these points. You know, like she shouldn't be able to make someone fall in love with her in 3 days without even being able to know anything about each other. It's probably just bad optics. You know, it's not something to raise kids on. You know, this is not an idealistic relationship.
I mean, if you want to dig that deep, we don't know if it worked. That's the simple fact.
I
of the
agree.
matter.
Well, I didn't watch the sequel. You did watch the sequel. Doesn't it work? Don't they
well, no. In the sequel, they're still married, but we don't know if that was true love at the time. That's what I'm saying. The terms of the contract are never met. By the time they do kiss, we don't know if that's true love's kiss because time's up. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's what I'm saying. So if you want, you can't have it one way but not the other. If you want to say it goes that deep, well, then you got to take it that deep and realize we actually don't get the answer to the question. It's not saying that we do.
My problem's not different. That. My whole problem is the optics that it would lead to a very young, impressionable audience. That these are the ways to live your life and the ways to pursue love. And this is one of the very first stories they're going to encounter, and they're going to buy a lot of this tripe. So I think that's a dangerous idea. Now, that said, I think Brian said the magic words as all the songs are bangers. So even though I kind of don't like the characters, I love the animation aesthetic, the look, and I love the music. The music pulls it out of whatever kind of like this story's sort of gunky. I'm not interested in the remake, them trying to kind of cover it up. It's like, you know, the fact that Ariel has to change herself into someone else to win over someone, to me, is not a good lesson. but the music slaps. So I'm going to leave it to you. And I'm going to go not guilty.
She thinks she needs to change herself. Again, we don't
No, but
know.
actually she did. Well,
But
at
she
least by
does-
the end of this, they
she
stay together.
does. Well,
we also don't know if she met him with a voice and a fish bottom, if he'd still be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
He still has to get legs.
That's what I'm saying, though. So, like, if you want to go that route, you have to acknowledge that we don't know some of these things, and you're making broad assumptions that these things had to
They
happen.
only judge it by what we see in the movie, and the
And
movie has a happy
that's what
ending
I'm
in which
saying.
audiences will walk out thinking that it was a happy ending and was justified.
I
They
don't
all
think
lived happily
so.
ever after is quite frankly like the.
Yeah.
That's like the. They say that about every fairy tale. This is a fairy tale. You know it's implied. You're just being difficult. You know it's implied. They're supposed
I'm
to live
not
happily
being
ever
I'm
after.
not being difficult.
But that
I'm just
said,
saying, if
here's
you
your
want to,
chance. It's
if
all
you
up to
want
you.
to pick it apart, if you want to
And
pick
we
it
did.
apart, you got to go all the way.
And,
you know?
and
That's all
I
I'm saying.
am a little bit further than you, so
Yeah,
you've got to
no,
keep
not
going
even.
where
No,
I am. You got to keep going. Keep
I'm
digging.
already there.
Keep digging.
I'm way
and let's see
past
what
where
you
you
think.
are.
Nope, you
However-
can't tell because I'm so far past you. You
Yeah.
can't tell.
No,
I'll give you.
you think I'm behind you because I lapped you.
No, that was just my joke.
Okay, so my point being, this is definitely a not guilty film. I really appreciate Ben's case. I like picking apart some of those things because they are interesting to talk about. But at the end of the day, this is a vehicle for the beautiful animation, for the absolute banger songs, and to set the tone moving forward. You know, Ben said, oh, can we really know if this helps set the tone? I mean, so many of these characters are like one-to-one to the Lion King. You know, what is Zazu if not Sebastian? You know what I mean? So I do
Le
think...
Poisson is quite literally Be My Guest. Like the exact same melody.
And that's what I'm
It's the
saying.
same
So
composer.
I think Little Mermaid, while it was right place, right time, it was also the right product at the right place, right time, the right piece of art, maybe I should say, at that time. So let's get out there and tell that very handsome judge.
It's brainwashing material.
Mr. Foreman, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor, despite Maynard and I being in violent agreement, we find the movie not guilty.
Yay!
Boo, boo, boo. Watch that blowfish blow.
Rebel, 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 rebel. The verdict is so rendered. The Little Mermaid is hereby free to go, but if we have to do the live-action version, it shall be sentenced to the dungeon in the castle on that VHS clamshell. You know the one. Court is adjourned.
And it'll need to find another plaintiff's attorney.
This is Postula, the Sea Witch, reporting to you live from outside the Reels of Justice. Big Ben, you sold me your soul so that you could win the case, and unfortunately you didn't, so here's your soul back. What did you think of the jury's verdict?
See the deals I make. No, I think it is fair. As Ryan said, this is a Gentleman's Six, which is sort of the same thing I put Rise of Skywalker and Superman in, where there's these films that just everybody loves, but there's these things.
Rise of Skywalker? No, you're thinking of Last Jedi.
I'm sorry, Last Jedi.
I mean, I'm a Sea Witch. I don't know what you're talking about.
That people just love, and they think they're perfect, and there's like, no, there's serious flaws about them. I still like it begrudgingly, as they said, but it's still got problems. So it's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about these weird rules that they create as if they're like really super serious rules. And it was a great discussion. So my hat's off to the defense attorney. It was a fun conversation.
Thank you. If you want to go double or nothing, we can get you your case next week. Now, Brian, come in here. What did you think of the jury's verdict?
Well, obviously, I think the jury's verdict is correct. I'm surprised it wasn't unanimous, but apparently there is one idiot on every jury, so that's fine.
Oh,
his name is Schlenzo.
Hey!
I would like to say that the plaintiff's attorney did a fantastic job on the song piece at the end. That was absolutely wonderful and enjoyable, and one that I will hopefully not remember for too long. But it was really entertaining and creative, and I appreciate that. It is proof, though. What this case does prove, and this is the deep and philosophical commentary, is that capitalism does put restrictions on the artist, and the artists involved in this. I'm sure they would have made a longer movie and filled in all those little pieces, but what they had to do, they had to be forced because of production costs and budgets to compress this down to a series of beautiful scenes and let you imagine what happened in between And because the theaters don't want, movies for kids going longer than an hour and 45 minutes, they had to keep it down around an hour and a half. And, once again, I only hope that there's a day where where true artists are free to do whatever they want. And as long as they never do another Jar Jar Binks, I will be perfectly happy. Because that's not true art. But, I always appreciate
getting some Disney Plus series.
Yeah. Ew.
I got Lucas's soul for that one.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have from outside the courthouse. Let's go to post-trial analysis. Brian, don't go anywhere. I want to show you the importance of body language.
Hey, that's no sea witch. That's the scare taker.
I could not think of a voice at all for it. I'm like, I know what I want to say, but I don't have a sea witch voice.
Well, that was fun. I like it when we actually get to talk about good movies on the show. It does not happen often.
Yeah, but still proud.
Since someone hates doing head-to-heads.
And I think if this was a movie aimed more towards adults that can make mature choices, but whatever you show kids, you're brainwashing with them. That's it. They just absorb it. They don't have any way to pick through things and go, oh, well, maybe they don't stay together. They don't have any, they're children. They don't understand nuance at all. They think these two are role models.
That's why you should only let your kids watch Bluey.
I'm not wrong, maybe at all. So, Brian, what keeps you busy? What have you been up to since last time you were here?
Well, first of all, let me once again. I don't know if I said it last time, but you guys put a whole bunch of effort into this show, and I really appreciate that. And I think last time I came on, I was a little shocked at how much effort you guys really put into it. And so this time I put a lot more effort into it, even more effort than I do into my regular episodes. So
semi-maximum effort.
You were great, Brian. It was a wonderful case. You did very well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So aside from so what keeps me busy? Let's see. Since I was last on, I'm now a grandfather.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Wonderful.
You want to talk about a little girl that's got me tied to a string, boy. Yeah, just keeps going on. I'm still doing
She's
the
the one that
magazine.
wanted you to do the show.
Yeah,
Does she like The Little Mermaid?
She just turned 2. She likes everything for about 3 minutes, and then she wants something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still that way.
Yeah. Oh, you're a cute little girl. Yeah.
Well, hey.
Yeah. We just watched a movie about you can be whoever you want to be and fall in love with whoever you want to.
What was it called?
Oh.
Get him out of here.
So this morning at the time of recording, I just finished episode number 722 of the Pipes Magazine radio show.
Incredible.
Nice.
Episode 600 was the best, though. Easy.
I'm guessing
That was the one I was on.
Yeah.
Are these daily episodes? Weekly?
Weekly.
Oh my God.
One a week for 722 weeks in a row. If I had to do it daily, I'd kill myself.
Oh no.
I am also in the midst of what I call hell time, which is of organizing the Las Vegas International Pipe Show. And this year we've had a couple of really intense bumps in things that we had no control over. So we're hoping that we are still able to continue having the pipe show. And
The
so far
snarf
it's
blasts
looking
are
good.
okay, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The snarf blasts are okay?
Yeah, the snarf blats are okay. It's the thing you
good.
put in them that the state of Nevada wants their tax money on.
Oh.
Yeah. So that came up, and then we lost the 14th floor hotel rooms that were smoking by hotel general manager's decision. So we've had to,
I guess if Las Vegas doesn't want to make money, what can Maybe they've had enough money. They're like, that's it.
Yeah, they want you, if you're going to smoke, they want you down in the casino, right near those machines that will take your money, your soul, your liver, and your voice too. Yeah, they want you in the casino.
Take your house.
Yeah. But as of the middle of July here, we are at a pace to break even on the expenses, which is all we really want to do. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, so that's what's keeping me busy, and it's a good busy.
All right,
Yeah. You know, I got to just say, Brian, I've been to the Las Vegas Pipe Show twice now. It is the best pipe show, the best people. You meet so many interesting people. You have the best conversations. And if you're lucky like me, I always win when I gamble. So I was able to use my winnings to buy very nice pipes. So it was good.
See?
All
Right,
around.
Las Vegas, if you're listening to this, people like Schlenzo are only going to go to Vegas and ever go to your casino if it's under the guise of this pipe show. So
It's
even if they,
true.
at least he's coming there and gambling for 30 minutes, you know?
It's right downstairs. I mean, it's not like, come on.
And I would say he's got to be one of the least. I'm sure almost everyone goes there and games a little.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So if you're out there and you're not sure if you ever want to do a pipe show and you're like, I'm on the fence, make the plunge. Because actually it was Brian. I was talking to you, and you just were very insistent. You're like, Dylan, you have to go. You got to try it out, and you'll love it. And you were absolutely right. And my buddy and I are planning being there this year. So I will see you in person then.
You know, it's truly a wonderful group of people where I've been in this. I've been going to pipe shows now for 26 years. I was in the industry starting in 1998, and it's just a fantastic group of people. Yeah, there's a few boneheads in there, you know, but
Schlenzo.
Well, yes.
But no, you really walk.
So it's okay.
Yeah, you walk into even if you're thinking about coming and you don't know anybody, you still walk into the room and you sit down in the smoking lounge at a table and you just start talking to the people next to you and introduce yourself, and next thing you know, 2 hours later and you haven't moved.
If you're thinking about going and you're not sure, go. Schlenzo will be there and he will be your friend. And you know him. You know everything about him if you listen to this
that's
show.
true. And actually, I did meet a couple of Reels fans at the last show. That was really gratifying, you know.
They
so
say
everyone
don't
out
meet
there,
your heroes, but Schlenzo's not your hero.
that's true.
Yeah, look, Dave Peterson and I, my partner in the event, we don't make any money off of it. We just hope that it pays for itself, but we really do have a good time putting it on and again, hanging out with a lot of our friends, and we're there 3 days before the show and stay 2 days after. And, you know, it's a great week. And, the only thing that I would change about it is that I didn't have to do all this paperwork in advance, but yeah, that's okay. It's all part of it. And it's a lot of fun.
Only there were 8 days a week. That's the only thing I wish. Just wish there were 8 days on the week.
If I
According
could
to the Beatles, there are.
You would still procrastinate and put things off, Maynard.
Yes, but I'd have one extra day to do so.
If there was 25 hours in the day, I'd screw off for 24 and a half of them.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, that's enough blowing smoke. Now, we always ask for recommendations from our guests for movies that you think people should see. So, Brian, what is a movie that you think people should see?
Oh boy, let's see. Recently, have I seen any movies that have really kind of?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. Here's one that kind of struck me and touched me, and I saw it on an airplane. And normally I wouldn't put on this kind of movie on an airplane. Normally I want pure eye candy. I just want to go numb. You know, I just want. Yeah. Mission Impossible movies are great on airplanes because
really
then I look around and
guy.
Then I look around and think everybody's a spy, or the Bourne movies. Yeah. I watched, I think it's called Up in the Air with George Clooney.
That is it.
And
you watched Up in the Air while up in the air?
While up in the air. Yeah.
I love this. Keep going.
Non-eye candy George Clooney. Okay.
Well, it's not eye candy for me, fella. I'm more of a Brad Pitt boy. So in my life of business travel, I've got 770,000 lifetime miles with American Airlines. And this is about a guy who is so shallow that he lives on the road and is interested in just all the things on the road in a casual relationship. And it turns out that she was married and everything. So it's just a fun, what have you done with your life perspective movie. So
I don't like to think about stuff like that, but
yeah, you kids are too young for it.
That's right.
Oh, Maynard has an existential crisis every other week. You think Ben's bad?
I barely count. It's like breakfast for me. So what about this movie really resonated with you? What if someone doesn't fly a lot, why should they see it?
I used to see those people a lot, and part of what I guess
that guy doesn't fly a lot. I can just tell.
Yeah, I used to see the people that flew a lot. You know, they're the ones that sat down in the first class seat, got their had their whole routine down, and had their same clothes and their one little carry-on bag, and the minute I was able to stop traveling all that time, I realized all the things that I missed at home. And I started to really feel sad for those people that were always up in the air, or always on the road, or always running from something,
on the run.
Not willing to commit to anything, looking for that one love of their life to settle down with.
Not shackled to any.
Yeah. When he would go home to his apartment was looked like it was less furnished than a hotel room. And he was more comfortable in an airport lounge than he was in his own kitchen. So,
damn,
made me happy for my life choices, which is rare.
Awesome.
There was a good day there.
Ryan, you saw this one? You said you've heard of it. Did you see it?
Sorry, talking to me?
Yes.
Ryan. I own it.
Oh, and what?
He owns every movie.
You like that one?
No, solid flick. Yeah. Anna Kendrick is super cute in it too.
Oh,
that's right.
Those are the words.
There we go. We buried the lead.
Oh, and it's got the cowboy guy is the super pilot.
Hangman Adam Page.
I wish that would be that's a different kind of movie.
I would watch that too. Big Ben, what have you got for us?
Yes, let's get down to business to recommend Mulan.
In a recommendation.
That's it. I'm done singing. I mentioned earlier that I did not grow up in a Disney household, particularly movies that had female protagonists. I think my parents just assumed that for two boys, it was a non-starter. But I do remember looking at it and others and wondering if I was missing out. I did see the first 45 minutes of it in Espanol when we had a substitute teacher for Spanish, but that hardly counts. I think it was at the urging of my friend Kaylee that I finally got around to seeing it when I was planning a trip to China, which didn't take much prodding, as to be honest. And also as an adult, I finally saw it and I loved it. Be a Man has got to be one of the best songs ever from this Disney Renaissance area. It's seriously underrepresented. It's become a karaoke staple for the two of us whenever we're either by ourselves or with a silly crowd. This is the Disney Renaissance era in full swing. No corners feel cut in animation at all. Everything is uniform and fluid. The Disney charm is dialed into the right formula. The stakes that the characters are up against feel real and ever encroaching. Many liberties were taken with the original story, which is par for the course for Disney. For example, in the OG, Mulan serves the army with her father's blessing. She's actually taken the place of her infant brother, so they see honor in her choice. The secrecy of having her take the place of the aging father does add drama, and also that romance isn't in the original. But I get why you might want to add that sort of thing, and I think it does add something to the story. So a lot of the changes they make sense. Mulan is a strong hero who I adore and would put on the short list of strong female examples we need more of. Unfortunately, the live action fell way short of that promise, and I was really looking forward to that one. I thought taking that art direction and the story beats that they had worked into the animated film and recombining the tale with more actual history and sort of a Zhang Yimou style would be like a 1-2 punch of excellent. But there's always next decade. I do need to get back to finishing up those Walk-Emendations soon, which this does not count of because it's an American film. But I am so hungry for more films like this that explore China's historical eras that, for whatever reason, they just don't seem to make it over here too often.
So you're okay with this daughter disobeying her father, but not the fish daughter?
She does it for honor. She doesn't do it just to have sex.
That's just a bonus. A little problematic.
She gets it. It wasn't for that.
They should have cast a real dragon to voice Mushu, though.
Yeah.
Ryan, what have you got?
My truck-emendation this week. Remember when I would say that? Yeah, I don't do that anymore. It's less a film and more of a compilation. In fact, you could argue that it's actually the first supercut in cinema history that is Joe Dante's The Movie Orgy from 1968. Having worked as an editor for Roger Corman, Dante knew the art of juxtaposition and montage like the back of his hand. In this 4.5-hour compilation, yes, you heard that right, Dante cuts from seemingly unrelated newsreels, 50s commercials, television segments like Groucho Marx's You Bet Your Life, propaganda, educational industrial films, rare outtakes, trailers, snapshots from nudie films, and even clips from movies that should be familiar to any fan of MST3K, like The Giant Gila Monster, The Beginning of the End, and The Amazing Colossal Man. When he made this Herculean effort, Vietnam was raging and Nixon was still in office, and Dante gets a few ironic jabs and Tricky Dick's ribs with a rusty bayonet there. So now here comes the tricky part. The only way you can watch it is A, if you attend a screening with Dante, who must be present whenever it's theatrically exhibited, B, Internet Archive in a lesser quality, or like me, C, picking up the now rare Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. You'll figure it out. Clear out a full evening, pop it in whatever, and prepare to be hypnotized by the majesty of clever editing. The editor as auteur. And you'll have plenty of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen moments at all the stuff you'll recognize, which also includes clips from Attack of the 50-Foot Woman and Earth versus the Flying Saucers. Support your local library.
Cool. Sounds fun.
4.5 hours.
It flies by. It absolutely flies by.
I'm going to watch it on Archive, but Joe Dante will be present. That I
We'll make him.
Please let me go. I have a family.
Nope, Joe, you got to sit right here. It's only 4 hours. Schlenzo, what have you got for us?
What do I have for you? Well, in the spirit of great animated features, as you know, Ben and I like going tit for tat for Miyazaki movies, and we only have 2 left, so he's got to start making more movies. And I'm going to recommend my favorite of the 2 left. That's right, Kiki's Delivery Service. Now, you want to talk about a strong female, young protagonist that people can realistically get behind, because, sorry, Ben, no kids going out to fight the Huns. But a teenage girl could go out.
Invade, we'll see.
That's true. She could go out and start her own business. And that's what's so nice about Kiki's Delivery Service. It's not about overcoming some weird sea witch or the Huns or anything like that. It's about a young girl going out, making her own way in the world. And she just so happens to be a witch, which is actually very incidental to the actual story. It's just a way she can fly around and deliver packages, hence Kiki's Delivery Service. Now, if you watch this in the superior American dub, you get a fine treat, my friends. You get Phil Hartman, the late, great Phil Hartman, whom we were just discussing with the whole monorail business. He does the voice of the cat in it, and he is wonderful.
He's the reason to watch the dub.
It's true. Yep. I would go that far.
Kirsten Dunst does a really good Kiki, but it's all about Phil Hartman in that dub.
100%.
How long is he in the movie? A little bit part, or is it like secondary?
No, whole time until the cat loses its voice.
Yeah, spoilers. I'm gonna watch this one now.
Yeah, no.
He's Phil Hartman cat.
Yeah, he's definitely the probably like the top of the 3rd tier characters, because it's mostly Kiki. Like it's
he just occasionally.
Hi, I'm Poochie, the rocking dog.
Yo, even better than the last.
Just like Sabrina's cat, whatever that Salem.
Salem, yeah.
Yeah, which is probably was inspired by Kiki. We'll never really know unless there's an enterprising person out there who wants to Google, but then you have to sift through the crappy AI results.
No, yeah, exactly.
Who wants to do that?
You need DuckDuckGo it. DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, you do the DuckDuckGo, actually. That's a good point. Anyway, I don't know if the Miyazaki stuff has made it to 4K yet, Ryan?
Not yet.
No.
It needs
Boy
to.
and the Heron made it, but not the old one.
He has to draw it all over again.
You can't. Oh, yeah, that would have to be
the second they are, I'll let everybody know.
You can definitely get the Miyazaki collection on Blu-ray, though, which is, as of now, that would be the best way to get it, in my opinion.
Yes.
And watch it that way. I think Kiki flies under the radar when people talk about Miyazaki because it's not as epic in scope as most of his better-known features. But if you like anything the man has put out, you will instantly recognize his impartier on this classic film. Support your local library.
It is so wholesome.
It is.
It doesn't even have an antagonist. Like it's just literally she's just doing errands and learning to become more self-sufficient. That's literally the entire movie. And it's adorable.
we were talking about character development. That's all this movie is just her kind of growing up and finding her way in the world. And it's just absolutely wonderful. They could have made it into like a TV series. Really, they could have.
Oh, absolutely.
Like a nice sitcom. Yeah. So if you've been putting this one off because it doesn't seem as epic as the other ones, you are doing yourself a disservice. Yes, it's no Porco Rosso. Yes, it's no Princess Mononoke. But goddamn, if it's probably not still a top 5 for me.
I got to see it in IMAX, and it was just like the most joyous thing. How the audience was going absolutely apeshit for it. It was such a great experience.
Probably excellent. Yeah, you got to keep an eye out for those Miyazaki Fests if they're coming around to theaters near you. Go support those as well, and then badger people in there when the movie's over. Just go support your local library, and then we've gone full circle.
I heard Phil Hartman cat.
Yep,
that's what I heard.
Yep, he's Gigi.
After watching The Little Mermaid, I needed to put on another Disney musical, preferably one with hip, energetic songs, to get under the sea and kiss the girl out of my head.
Oh, good luck.
So I went with, I think, a pretty good bet to do it. 1992's Aladdin. A poor street urchin.
You pivoted?
I did. A poor street urchin befriends a powerful genie with the ability to make all his dreams come true. If you haven't seen this one yet, what's it like to be living under a rock for all these years, huh? Hell, you've lived an even more sheltered life than Big Ben. But
I don't know. I think we might be in an era where more people have seen the live action than the original.
I don't say things like that.
Or the Broadway musical.
But if you're criminally young, or it's just been a while since you've seen it, it's worth revisiting. Every single number is just banger after banger after banger. Mission accomplished because Friend Like Me and Prince Ali are now playing on a constant loop inside of my head over each other, which is driving me crazy. That said, much like today's film, there's things that bug me about this story. Obviously, very, very old one. But like the Sultan could always change the laws whenever he wants. He could always just let his daughter marry whoever she wants, whenever she wants. He's the goddamn Sultan. He literally makes all the rules.
They need alliances. She can't marry a street urchin. What's wrong with you?
But she does eventually. She does eventually, right? At the end, he's like, all right, well, now you can marry a street urchin. If it was okay for you to marry my vizier, I suppose you
he's
can marry
best friends with a genie who can really get us out of some jams.
That is awesome. And well, the genie's cool. Now, that said, the best aspect of this film is that Aladdin doesn't have to actually change who he is to win Jasmine. In fact, the story is about how he thinks he has to change, and it turns out he's wrong. She hates everything about him when he's not being himself. Plus, the vocal, and that's the right message to children. There you go. Plus, the vocal talents of Robin Williams and Gilbert Gottfried, don't sleep on Gilbert, steal every single scene they're in. That said, fuck judgmental tiger caves. What makes one thief special and another worthy of death? Who are you to play God, Cave of Wonders? If you want to stick it to the Cave of Wonders, Aladdin is currently streaming on a very specific streaming network that I can't think of right now. Schlenzo, what's it called?
Space Camp.
That's it. Space Camp Plus.
And Alan Menken only won 2 Academy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and 3 Grammys for that movie.
I'm not sure what the actual pinnacle is, whether it's Aladdin or Lion King. It might be Lion King, but Aladdin is damn close. Yeah. And with that, we are all out of show. But we want to thank our guest, Brian Levine, for joining us. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you for having me again.
We're going to have you back, and that's not just us blowing smoke. I used it to Schlenzo. We're going to have you back. You can do any other movie that you like. Maybe we're going to make you do the live action Little Mermaid. You think you like this stuff so much, you can do that one. How about that? Smart guy.
I'm busy that week.
Okay, don't worry. We can reschedule around here.
Yeah, both of them.
I'm sure he has more than one. Dang, we went to the same place. But we're definitely going to have you back, and we hope everyone else will join us as well. As the reels of justice keep turning.
Count it.
Crabs.
Ooh.
Please follow us on Twitter at Reels of Justice, Instagram Reels of Justice, and Facebook.com/Reels of Justice.